Hi there, these comments are for LL, and I am Michael from BetterTOEFLScores.com. Free, high quality TOEFL lessons, and thank you for doing your independent speaking practice test. Let's take a look at your email. You see attached, please find my speaking recording, question 1 for evaluation. Do you agree or disagree with the following statement? Your parents are the most influential people in your life. Use reasons and examples to support your response. See, where can I find samples for question 2 to practice? I would go either to YouTube. You can find integrated speaking practice there, usually some practice tests. You can also go to TOEFL Practice Online. Zabon TOEFL used to have a good link, but they got shut down. I found a good link in China, and I'll put that link into the email for you so you can look at that one maybe. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we have the independent speaking rubrics here, and I have your practice test. Okay, here we go.
I don't think that my parents are the most important influence people in my life.
Instead of I don't think that, just say my parents are not the most influential people in my life.
Is because they are not.
Instead of this is because, just say because. My parents are not the most influential people in my life because
Around me all the time, and I don't want that they will be hurt. So I prefer not to tell them that they will be hurt. And I don't want they're not around me all the time, and I don't want. This is because they're not around me all the time, and I don't want.
I'm having a little trouble understanding that, but your two key points are not very clear. You need to be more precise in your vocabulary, right? So your parents are not the most important people in your life. Why is that? Can you give me two specific reasons? You might say their judgment, because their judgment is outdated, or their experience is outdated, and they're too sensitive to my situations or something, you might say.
That they will be hurt.
I don't want that they will be hurt. That's a little bit cumbersome and clunky. Native speakers would probably say, I don't want them to be hurt. They would use the pronoun them and then the infinitive phrase after that.
So I prefer not to tell them everything. For example, I know a girl here that suffers from a verbal and...
Now, for example, I know a girl who, why are you telling me this information, right? And how does this relate to your topic in the beginning, right? So you need a little bit better connection between that first example, right? If you say, well, to show, if you say, first of all, my parents are too judgmental. If you say, my parents are too judgmental, and then say, for example. Once you give the example, now we know what that example is connected to. We know what it relates to.
Physical violence from her boyfriend, since her parents are far away in Israel and she here in Canada.
And she is here in Canada. Be careful about leaving out your be verb.
She doesn't want them to get worried. Besides, they are far away, so they cannot help her a lot.
She doesn't want to worry them, right? So then maybe revise what you said in the beginning. Because I don't want to worry my parents, and perhaps because they're too judgmental, they are not the most important people in my life. You state those two reasons up front.
Telling the story to her friend, she succeeded with their support.
By telling her story, she succeeded
to separate from this toxic relationship.
Okay, so I'm going to listen to it one more time, and then I'm going to give you my impression. I'm thinking between maybe, I'm going to say maybe 15 to 18 points approximately.
I don't think that my parents are the most important influence people in my life. This is because they are not around me all the time, and I don't want that they will be hurt. So I prefer not to tell them everything. For example, I know a girl here.
Maybe you want to say that they'll be too annoying. They will annoy you. They'll bother you too much if you tell them too much.
Influence people in my life. This is because they are not around me all the time, and I don't want that they will be hurt. so I prefer not to tell them everything. For example, I know a girl here that suffered from a verbal and physical violence from her boyfriend. Since her parents are far away in Israel and she here in Canada, she doesn't want them to get worried. Besides, they are far away, so they cannot help her a lot. By telling the story to her friend, she succeeds with their support to separate from this toxic relationship.
All right, I got it. So I think you're definitely in the 2 range here, right? If you look at it, you have, with speech, you have unclear articulation. Sometimes you have a choppy rhythm or pace. Meaning may be obscured. Yes, sometimes I cannot understand every single word that you're saying. There is some meaning obscuring going on. I think that you have a limited range and control of your grammar and your vocabulary, which prevent you from fully expressing your ideas. That's why you had so much trouble in the beginning, I think, with your topic statement. You couldn't figure out the best vocabulary words to use to frame your response. You want to say, well, they're annoying, or they're bothersome, or they're too judgmental, right? But you couldn't think of any of those specific words that you could use to frame your response. I think that the idea is you need to have a little bit better connection of ideas. The connection of ideas may be unclear. So sometimes when you're giving the examples, it's not clear how those examples relate to your overall argument, right? So that's why I'm going to give you the score that I am. So I'm going to say you're probably maybe 17 to 18 points on it, between 2 and 2.5. That would be my guess. So to help you with your pronunciation, check out in the pronunciation part of my online TOEFL course, review the lesson called Thought Groups and Blending, lessons 41 through 44. I think that's a good one. To help you a little bit with your sentence structure, sentence variety, in the grammar part of my course, check out, I think it's grammar lesson number 26 on sentence variety. The vocabulary is a more serious issue. I have all the lessons you need, but it takes time. So you should review vocabulary lesson number 3, vocabulary lesson number 4, 5, and 6. That helps you to expand your vocabulary to at least almost 2,000 words. Then you'll be much less limited in how you explain your ideas. And thank you for doing the practice test.